way there for a while.
Amnesia, I don't think it's.
Well, I actually went to Carmen's tonight because they wanted me to do inspections. So I just wanted to curb and make sure he didn't break anything up during his renovation. So he did, he's fine. I'll tell him. I'll tell him. No, he's not fine.
I used to put it on my. Yeah.
He's busy. I mean, the press conference is flying. There's lots going on there. So. But yeah, you got it for sure. Shake.
You know.
Please stand for salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Borough of Seabright, in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, has provided adequate notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting to the Asbury Park Press and the Link News on January 13, 2022. Filed notice with the Borough Clerk and posted notice on the Borough office and on the Borough website. This meeting is open to the public, and you are all welcome. Good evening, everybody. Can we have a roll call, please?
Alrighty, Councilman Bieber.
Here.
Ms. Bills. Present. Mr. Cashman.
Here.
Chairman Cunningham.
Here.
Vice Chair Becerra.
Yeah.
Ms. Woolman. Here. Mayor Kelly. Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lexstein.
Here.
Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Julia.
Okay, on to the approval of minutes from June 14th meeting. Discussion or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a roll call, please.
Okay. Councilman Bieber.
Yes.
Mr. Cashmore.
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham.
Abstain, I was.
Oh, that's right. We did that again. Outstanding. Vice Chairman Becerra.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
And Mr. Lexstein.
Yes.
And that's it.
Okay, I don't know if there's to be discussion about the correspondence we got about the laying the line for the windmills offshore. Was that to be discussed or just a notification?
Just a notification.
Okay. The memorialization of the resolution will not take place. Mr. Middleton tonight.
Mr. Middleton's here.
It's not going to
I
be.
know, but he's here, so I'm sure that's why he's here.
We didn't receive it, correct?
Right, we don't have it, but that's why he's here, so we should tell him that.
It won't be heard. We did not receive it. Your resolution.
It's not personal, it's just the attorney didn't turn it in to us yet. So we'll have it for the next meeting, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right, it means nothing, don't read anything into it.
I'm not.
Okay.
Mr. Schulberg, I know where he's at.
You just woke him up.
Well, he wasn't until you said that,
I figured it's only he's here, so.
On to new application number 2022-11, The Singers, Daniel and Joe Singer. 11 Garden Way, Block 2, Lot 12. Welcome.
Thank you.
should we?
With the applicants, please come up. And for the record, my name is Ron Tropoli. I'm the board attorney this evening. I'm covering for Monica Kowalski, who is in all of that for you. So folks, if you remain standing for one moment, I'd like to administer the oath here. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, starting with you, may we have your name, please?
Jill Singer.
And sir?
Daniel Singer?
Thank you. And I noticed you're the witness for this evening.
I'm the architect, Mark Fitzsimmons. Architect.
And so your name again?
Mark Fitzsimmons. Architect.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All the witnesses are sworn.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you just tell us what your credentials for the record.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm a registered architect of the state of New Jersey. I've been registered, I believe, since 1988. My office is in Red Bank on River Road, 234 River Road, Red Bank. First time I've been in this room, but I've been in before Seabright, a few other times in other areas.
Without any objections to board members, we'll accept your credentials. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You have the floor.
I'd like to, so I want to start off just pretty much to introduce why I was doing the project.
Sure. So we purchased a home we closed in September of this 21. We love the neighborhood, enjoy the neighborhood tremendously. We've been coming down as visitors for probably a decade. And when we had the opportunity to purchase this home, which had enough bedrooms to accommodate all of our family, we really liked the neighborhood, but noticed that this home, which was built in 2005 in the area, I'm assuming most of you are at least familiar with the side streets there. At the time, it was the first house in the area that was built as a larger structure, and then over time, all the other houses in the neighborhood have since been rebuilt and adding a lot of really attractive architectural enhancements to the neighborhood of all the surrounding homes. This house, which was built, I think, to my best of my understanding, was built even initially as an investment property and had been a rental home for a number of years. So when we purchased it, we invested quite a bit inside the house to turn what was a house for renters into a primary residence and improve the interior. And now we're looking at doing some things that we think add some more architectural character to the outside of the home, make it more fitting with the neighborhood. In addition, there's a side deck on the house that, from the best we can gather, might have at one point had some ocean view, but post Superstorm Sandy, when the Driftwood, the damage was done to the southern part of the Driftwood Beach Club, and that was rebuilt, it obstructed any view that this little side porch on the house might have had. So the plans that we were proposing, now that both Jill and I are spending most of our time working from home, working remote under in the new world we all live in, we were looking to convert that space into a home office, which kind of sits just off of our master bedroom. So that's the two primary things that we were seeking approval for, the two primary things that would require variance. One is that additional enclosed space, and two would be adding a small front porch that would encroach upon the required setback by about 2 feet 9 inches or so.
9 inches, right? We're approaching.
For just a space that would be, I think, about 15 or 18 feet wide, just to add a little bit more front porch space for the front door and a little porch that comes on the second floor. So that's why we're before you to seek those variances to accomplish that work.
We got, we're here for mainly the front yard encroachment in the front porch. That's what's one variance. The other variance is it's an existing 3-story building, and in this zone, it's only a 2.5 stories we can allow. The house, I'll just explain it to you too. This is just these photographs. Here's the front entry, 1 level, 2 levels, and the 3rd story is the master bedroom suite. With they want to do the front yard.
They wanted me
They're actually part of the plan zone.
Right, but these are being used.
So I'm marking this evidence.
Oh, you want me to mark it?
If you would, please, Mr. President, let's go with the photo board you started there.
Yeah, sure.
Mark that A1. All the other exhibits, of course, are online and have been for 10 days or so. And then mark your second one, A2, and if you would just put a brief description for both and then proceed with your testimony.
Yeah, sure. First I'd like to backtrack a little bit too here, with just starting with the height of the existing structure. And I know if the 50% rule is required with that, as far as the structure right now doesn't meet the qualifications for that zone, for the flood zone at 12 feet and below it, but it's existing. And my client is going to, he's got it was sent to you also, he's only going to spend a certain amount of money on his improvements, and it's going to be about more than 50%. So I just wanted to put that on the table first, as far as that's the first. Then the other, going back to these boards here, these are full floor plan. First floor plan is going to show the addition of the front porch coming out 2'9", and I'll put this here and show you the elevations at the same time.
But the mark down also,
This is going to be A3.
and just again, a description on the record.
Yeah, this shows existing elevations on the left side, and this shows proposed elevations on the right. I try to highlight in white, brown, or tan, pretty much the areas that are going to be new compared to what the lighter areas are white. So you've got your front porch here, and I really feel like if you look at the existing photograph over here, this definitely dresses up the front porch in front of the house very much with this front porch. And then you have a little balcony upstairs too, with a little railing there, which I think is going to be appreciated too, as far as for person on the second floor taking a view out the front ocean. The other areas on the side here is the house. Let me explain the house to you. I said it was three levels, and then there's two intermediate levels. There's a bedroom at this level, halfway up, and then there's the existing deck above this bedroom level here. So what we're doing with this project is that we are going to take this deck that is open right now and enclose it and make the home office with Dan in the center. And then that's going to be the side elevation. So right now, the front elevation is a variant. A front addition is a separate variance by itself. The rest, which I'm going to, these other areas are all non-conforming because it has an existing 3 stories. And with an existing 3-story non-conformance means that anything you do on the house, we have to go before the board here and ask for variance because we're extending that existing 3-story non-conformance. The other areas then that we're going to have improvements on are in the back of the house. And we are going to put a deck in the rear. We are going to, floor plan wise, this is the back of the house here, a rear deck. We have a changing room, and that's on the lower level. On the other level above this, we're going to be putting a spiral staircase that goes up to the 3rd level from the proposed, from the proposed office area. And then up to the 3rd level, we're going to go to a lower deck above the home office. And then we're going to go up to a higher deck, which will be out the rear of the building. That will be above the master bedroom suite. Hope you all understand that. But those are the projects that are being built on the rest of the house as far as making improvements. And
If it's helpful, there's Mark prepared renderings as well.
yes.
If you think of it.
These haven't been submitted.
No, they haven't been submitted. And they'll be A4 and they'll be A5.
These renderings have not been
Oh, the
submitted.
renderings, no.
Okay.
So we can identify them as exhibits.
A4 and A5.
If you plan on preparing, I'm sure. We'll call the one that's been handed to A4 and again A5. But if you just put a description, then that's about. We appreciate it.
Thank you. This is the 7th list.
Mark, if you don't mind putting that it's labeled as A5 now on the right hand, use it, it might be easier than just to show where the modifications really are. If we look at these, just to leave this up, just the same, right? So where the front door is existing, kind of just set back, you can see on the rendering it makes the front stoop, extend another 2.5 feet with a little overhang balcony above it. And then where currently there is just this side deck. You can't really see from this living room, but you can see from also over here.
Right. This is it right here.
Where the door building enclosure,
The home office is here, and then we're going to put another deck on top of that.
which is the deck on top of it would be similar in size and shape to what is existing now, just 1 story back.
Actually, it's going to be a little bit smaller. too.
Really small.
Yeah. Yeah, the floor plan shows the spiral takes you up to this deck here in the back. And the deck, you come down a couple steps and go to the deck side deck above the home office.
The plan looks like you're not exceeding the existing height of the house as it is.
No, we're staying at the height of the house right now presently is 35 feet, and we're not going above that.
And then the extension in the front is only for steps, it's not any kind of living space, so.
This addition in the front encroaches the front yard setback.
So it's strictly steps then.
Strictly a porch, open porch with steps coming down.
And the last question I have is that you're not eliminating the garage, are you?
No, we're not limiting trucks, no.
Yeah, that was a question that was raised earlier. I didn't.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to clarify on Dave Hoda's record.
That's correct, that's a mistake, the garage is gonna stay.
Yeah, he says here on technical review E that the garage is going to be removed, and that's incorrect.
I originally received these plans electronically
No,
only.
I just want to put on the record that this is, and you said the flood level is elevation 8, it's 9.
Okay,
Not that it makes any difference at this point, but I think what might have lent itself to some of the initial confusion is that on the very initial set of drawings that we submitted, we were seeking to potentially expand the width of the driveway, so there was discussion around that, so there's a car on the driveway, and we said on the plans.
We eliminated
that request.
Since we revised drawing back, that we eliminated that, so it's as is.
Does the other board show the rear?
No, it shows the other angle here.
Oh, the other angle, okay.
That's it. We'll show you.
Other than the office, there's no changes to the bump outs on the third floor, is that correct? Correct, Jeff?
Yeah, that's correct.
They're just staying as is, the shed on the roof there.
Nothing's changing.
At the third level, nothing's changed in the third level, except for the deck that's going above the shed roof on the back.
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure, for clarity purposes. On the plans, it shows that proposed parking space. You're going to change the plans to
Yeah,
eliminate?
there was a revised one.
We have another revised one?
Yeah, there's like a little page where it says, it's just one stage.
I'll look at the wrong, I look at the wrong one?
This thin one.
Yeah, I sent that out for revised parking.
thinking this week.
No, change this.
Okay. Oh, I do have it, my apologies. I'm pulled over the
Yeah,
wrong.
we just wanted to eliminate that.
That brings up another question. Your requirement is to have 2 parking spaces. So you have one in the garage and one in the driveway. But parking in the setback can't be attributed to a parking space without a variance, because you're not allowed to park in a setback. Isn't that correct?
Within a front yard.
Yeah, so you can't park, it can't be considered a legal spot if it's within the front yard.
As far as,
No, you can just ask for a variance.
You can park there.
I'm sure you're not, you're supposed to too.
but the variance for that too. Parking driveway.
So then you get variance for that.
But to qualify for the second spot, you have to park in the setback.
Right.
So you have to get.
It's got to be beyond 25 feet.
On,
You're making that request on behalf of your clients.
I want to make sure I understand what the request is. It sounds like we need to make that request, but so to park in our own driveway, we need a variance. Is that?
Because it's part of.
Because, but the driveway would always be within the setback. By definition, the driveway is in the setback.
That's right, we just have a quirk in our code saying that you can't park in the front yard, so you can't park in the front yard setback. So,
If what we need to keep everything exactly the way it is now, which when I understand was the code, to keep everything as it is now, we need to ask for a variance, and yes, we seek to.
in some ways, the people run it up.
It's legal.
I'm not aware.
So you're asking for that variance.
Yes, I am asking for that variance.
I want him to ask for it.
To be able to park a car in your driveway.
I would like to be able to park a car in my driveway.
I think that the front porch and steps architecturally make the house much more attractive, so I personally don't have good objection to your slightly encroaching your front yard setback.
Thank you, Ray.
Appreciate that.
Dave, can I ask you a question? From the review letter, obviously it's front yard setback There seems to be some confusion. I know 2.5 stories of what the ordinance provides, and proposed 3 stories, and I believe this is a 3-story structure.
This is an existing 3-story structure, but my understanding, or at least my opinion, would be if you do anything to add to an existing non-conforming 2-story, then that's why we're here for all these things. And I think it's better for my client to ask for everything he wants.
I have it flagged in my letter as a variance for the three stories, not for the height, but for the three stories.
Right.
What's allowed in the zone is a 2.5-story at 38 feet, like that, Dave.
Yes, well, it's 38 with the additions.
The additions for raising, I think, the house.
Right.
But then in this zone, I mean, this house is at 35 feet, but it's 3 stories. And then the story, of course, is defined in your ordinance.
So you're calling it out for the story, not for the height.
I mean, this house was only built, what did you say, 2005?
2005.
Yeah, they're talking about a variance.
Oh, they have to do everything. They have to do everything.
Yeah, but 3 stories when they
So
built.
we actually,
It's not that long ago.
it's a pre-existing variance, but we're still extending the
No, I
non-conformity.
understand, yeah.
For the abundance of clarity, and it sounds like everybody's kind of following along now, the addition that we're building is really a second story on that section of the house. It does not go as high as the existing 3rd story.
And even the railing on the deck on the bottom is not going above the roof, so we're not even.
Everything is below the existing roof.
So you're making no changes to the 3rd story.
No.
Adding a rooftop
Yeah.
deck on a 3rd story, but at a level.
That's lower than the existing.
Right, so that the top of the railing of that deck will be at or below the existing ridge of the.
Yeah, the plan here, this is the 3rd level, which is a master bedroom suite. Nothing is being done to that at all. No additions or anything, but we are putting the deck on top of that.
The deck is inside, so you really can't see it from outside, from any of the locations. I mean, you have a rail there.
You got a rail here in back that shows the rear elevation. And from the side, it's here's the deck above here, below the roof line. The spiral staircase takes you up, and then goes up further to get to this deck and comes down to go to this deck.
So that's a circular stairway.
Circular stairway.
It's like you utilizing the ceiling of the bedroom to be the floor.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes.
We enjoy the view from our bedroom so much that we want our guests to be able to.
And you had said before, the railings do not go higher than the existing ridge
That's right.
on top.
The railing or the height of the building, the existing.
I think it would be the 34.6 plus or minus an inch.
This is a pretty simple application.
Is that your testimony? So let's open to questions or statements from the public.
All members of the public who want to come on up. You need to do some more, and then I'll do well, so. That's raise your right hand, please. Just swear the testimony you give this evening, be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you.
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand up, we'll have your name, please, and your address.
Bob Maroni, live at 10 Island View Way. I'm on the corner, we're on the corner of Island View and Broadway with their neighbors. Although we haven't met each other yet. I'm happy to hear that they are, the people out there before used to use that rental property, and we're so happy that that's not the case. So I'm just here to say support of the project. I think what they're doing looks good, as Steve pointed out. So I just wanted the board to know that we're happy and we're a neighbor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public?
Good luck.
If not, the public portion is now closed. Discussion from the board or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as testified.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bieber.
Yes.
Ms. Bills? Yes. Mr. Cashmore?
Yes.
Chairman Cunningham?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sarah?
Yes.
Ms. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Lexstein?
Yes.
Happy building.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. All right, on to the application to be adjourned, 10:30 liquor partners. 10:30 Ocean Avenue. Tommy's. Yeah, their application cannot be heard tonight. And they requested that we carry.
I'll make a motion to carry. Without further notice, that we,
Without further notice.
yeah, I'll make a motion to carry.
To the August 9th meeting.
To the August 9th meeting without further notice.
If anyone's here for Tommy's, it will be carried to the August 9th meeting. There's no other business before the board this evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.